Hello and welcome to Industry Spotlight with Creative First. Our guest today is Stefan Bugaj, who's the Senior Vice President of Gen AI Content and Technology at GeoStar, and also an Emmy Award winner for Outstanding Innovation in Emerging Media in 2024. Stefan, welcome to this discussion.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
You've spent your career at the crossroads of animation, gaming, and storytelling. What's the single biggest force that shaped your creative philosophy?
I think probably innovation, and not just in terms of technology, but also in terms of the technology and technique and kinds of experiences that we're delivering, the formats. I think back to Steve Jobs' phrase "think different." As being something that's always motivated me, but also on the creative content side in terms of storytelling, whether it's in film and TV or games or comics or anything, new media of various kinds, even as we're discovering new formats. Um, I always come back to this phrase that we use in the creative industry in the US, the same but different for genre storytelling, where you want to meet people's expectations enough that they know kind of the ride they're going on, but then find ways to surprise them and always do something that's a little new, a little different, a different take. Even if you're making a franchise production where there's been other stories before or an adaptation, like what can you bring to it that's new and surprising and will delight an audience? So I think for me, it's always been finding ways to be innovative, both in our formats and our techniques and our experiences, and also in our storytelling.
After legendary stints at Pixar Animation Studios, Telltale Games, and Genvid Entertainment, what's been the most lightning in a bottle moment since joining GeoStar?
I mean, I think the most lightning in a bottle moment for me since joining GeoStar is discovering just how much energy, enthusiasm, talent, and opportunity there is in India. I mean, I took the job kind of hinting at that. Like I was impressed by the size of the market. When I was told that there can be 1 billion viewers of major events on the platform, I was like, wow, that's like 3.5 USs. That's impressive. But coming here and experiencing just how much opportunity there is and how much talent and excitement and enthusiasm there is, especially around AI, but just around innovating storytelling, the film and TV medium, interactive medium in general. I think that's been the most excitement and the biggest lightning in a bottle moment for me.
What makes India a unique market for AI-powered storytelling?
I think one of the things that makes India such a unique market for AI-powered storytelling is the fact that the Indian audiences are much less resistant to the idea of AI being used in anything, in storytelling and filmmaking and image generation, etc. Um, and they just want a great story and a great experience and to be impressed and excited and dazzled and go on an emotional journey and have characters that they can relate to, that they can love and hate. Um, and I think the reason that India is such a interesting and exciting place for storytelling in general is that there are so many stories, so many people who have stories, who have different stories, who are storytellers themselves, even if not professionally. And it really is a land of stories. So I think that the combination of being very excited and enthusiastic about an innovative technology, and wanting to find the positive in it and the things that people can do with it that are beneficial, and the deep love of storytelling and the culture is a great combination.
As AI becomes more capable, what role will human creators and copyright play in the future of content creation?
I mean, I think human creators will always play a role in content creation because ultimately we are telling stories to each other. We're trying to make a connection with each other, an emotional connection that comes from a creator's perspective and the way that they're trying to reach their audience emotionally, their tone and their themes, and so on, that a AI can sort of help organize and give options and so on, but ultimately people want to have a connection with another human storyteller. So I think there's always going to be a role for people in there to bring their taste and their discernment and their style to really make something that is one person or one group's authorial intent to communicate with their audience. Um, and I think that the concept of copyright really is a social contract between a creator and the rest of the world to give them credit and compensation for the things that they've brought into the world. And I think that will continue to be a part of the economic bargain of creation for as long as that is for any other form of creation, regardless of whether or not you use AI. But I think that ultimately this is a medium where people are trying to connect with each other, and AI is an amplifier for us and a force multiplier, but it's not going to replace us. I like to say that if an AI could completely conceive of, write, and generate a film all by itself, it probably would be one that other AIs like, but maybe not so much for us. Like you might wake up one day and Claude is like, "Hey, check out this movie Gemini just made," and you watch it and you're like, I guess I had to be an AI." So I think we will always have a role in telling each other our own stories.
Well said. You've pioneered interactive narrative. Are we finally moving towards a world where viewers don't exist, only participants?
I don't think it's only. I think that there is a lot of, especially in business and trend analysis and stuff of people saying like, oh, people only want this now, right? Like TikTok's popular. All content will be 10 seconds from now on forever. And I think that people want a variety of different things. And in the industry, we have these phrases, lean back media and lean forward media. And lean forward is where you engage and you're participating in some way. It doesn't just have to be like a game-like kind of interaction. Um, but we've had that for thousands of years. I mean, all of these kinds of like improv comes out of like community storytelling and people having a back and forth as they tell stories around the campfire or in certain kinds of like public theater experiences and things like that. So I think there's always been an opportunity for people to want to just lean back and enjoy a well-crafted, well-curated experience brought to them by someone else who's doing all the work and other kinds of engagements that they want to have where they themselves lean forward and participate in some way. So I'm very excited about interactive storytelling and gaming and ways to bring audiences in as participants and the possibilities that AI have created for that as the technology gets faster and cheaper. Um, but I don't think that we're going to ever be in a place where nobody wants to lean back and just watch a good movie or listen to music or be told a story. Um, to the exclusion of interactivity to the exclusion of all else, I don't think is a path that we're going to go down.
You view AI as a creative collaborator. How is it fundamentally shifting the way a story is sculpted?
For me, I'm not entirely sure it's fundamentally shifting the way a story is sculpted, but rather giving more opportunities to work in ways that can more quickly help you, sort of break out of a creative deadlock or really iterate quickly on ideas, um, bounce ideas back and forth with a partner that is able to give certain kinds of feedback, particularly structural and analyses of where it fits into like a large body of other creative works that would be hard for us as individual people to analyze quickly. Um, Riffing on ideas like, give me three variations or 10 or 100 variations on this idea, sort of bouncing that back and forth. So I think it's a great collaborator in terms of storytelling in that way, but I don't see it necessarily radically altering like the fundamental ways that you think about story, even if as new opportunities open up with like um, you know, fully immersive, evolving, reactive, real-time worlds, which need to be made faster and more cost effective before we get there. But even so, that ultimately is a form of branching narrative and or improv. So it's not like in human history we've never experienced anything like that whatsoever. We're just amplifying it where this technology is able to potentially be more reactive and change more about the experience that you're inhabiting than prior technologies have been able to. But I think the fundamentals of storytelling, of like emotional engagement and surprise and, you know, awe over spectacle and, emotional depth within characters and character stories, I don't think that stuff is changing. I think it's just expanding the ways in which we can work with all of those elements that we've always used in storytelling in sort of right now, faster, more iterative, in some cases, cheaper ways, depending on how you scope things. Um, but I think as the technology evolves and new possibilities open up, I think it's really taking those core elements of how we experience the world around us and funnel that into experiences we share with other people isn't going to change because of the technology. It just gives us more of a bigger palette to paint with.
GeoStar is investing heavily in AI powered content. What kinds of experiences do you think audiences will see in the next few years?
I mean, where we're starting at GeoStar is using the technology to be able to create things that are um, more spectacular than we've necessarily seen in most Indian film and TV, to allow us to explore new genres or underserved genres that prior phases of the market have not necessarily embraced, to see what we can create for new audiences, to expand our targets demographics, to program to micro demographics, and explore the various different ways in which new voices and new kinds of storytelling can occur in our base medium of film and television and short form linear. And we are also looking at as the technology becomes more capable cost effectively, what kinds of interesting lean forward experiences we can bring audiences that expand upon that base of engaging, emotionally driven, spectacular, and diverse storytelling that we're building out with the technology in the linear formats initially.
Personalization is becoming central to entertainment. How do you personalize experiences without losing a shared cultural moment?
I mean, I think personalization is something that can be overdone, and this idea of personalization, while there's still something that's a shared cultural moment, something you can talk about. When I was at Telltale Games, we called them water cooler moments, where there is enough of a shared experience that when you talk about what happened for you that was different, that's the aha moment. That's the wow. That's the subject of discussion. But it needs a context that's shared. So it actually comes down to understanding how to design stories that give you that shared cultural context, that provide the things that ground the differences that you're each experiencing in your personalized content, so that when you talk to someone about it, you can say, "Oh, hey, this interactive show, this open world experience, whatever it is that we're experiencing, I went to the place that we all know and I talked to the person that we all know, but they said this to me." And the other person goes, "Really? But they said this to me, and that's very different. And why?" And it's knowing how to create stories that allow that to happen that is where you find the balance between creating cultural moments and personalization that's meaningful. Because you can also have very facile personalization that seems like it might be meaningful, but is really just window dressing. And it also comes down to understanding the kind of experience, the kind of story that you're giving people, which one works where. Because the ability to have a lot of cosmetic customization in a highly interactive, environment like a Fortnite where the main vector for expression of someone in that particular interactive experience is what their character looks like and the kind of equipment they're carrying and so on, versus a highly story-driven and very character immersive kind of environment. That kind of, for example, cosmetic variation may become less value than, for example, the variation of relationships between other characters and the character that the audience member or the player is sort of driving.
What lessons from gaming do you think film and television still haven't embraced?
I think that one of the big lessons from gaming that a lot of industries can embrace is the degree to which gaming is very audience, or in that case, player focused in a way that is not just a superficial read of, let's say, some statistics about engagement or whatever, but because it's a medium that's very dependent upon direct engagement with mechanics, whether that's movement and action mechanics or storytelling mechanics, doing analyses at a deep level of why people reacted in the way that they do, and understanding that at a structural and a content and experience design level, I think is something that games historically have done very well, that other media could learn from, is like being able to do the analysis of people reacted in this way based on this data that we've gathered about, in watch time, when people come in and out of content and things like that, and then do a structural content analysis that really gets down into the issue of why and how to improve that experience for the viewer or the player, I think is something that gaming can help other media learn.
What advice would you give filmmakers and storytellers who want to embrace AI without losing their creative voice?
Don't let the AI do all of the work for you, and all of your thinking for you. AI, if you embrace it as a tool to sort of amplify your own creativity, can be very powerful and can allow you to do things at a scope and scale that you might not have been able to do previously by yourself, or with a small team and with a small budget. And that's amazing. Like, that's just a great opportunity for artists who maybe haven't been able to have their voices heard before because of reasons of access, whether that's financial or political. Um, and now there's this opportunity that really is kind of a democratizer that can level the playing field. But if you just defer all of the creativity to what the AI hallucinates for you, then obviously you will not develop or lose your own voice. But if you use it as a way to express your voice and direct the AI to create results that reflect your perspective and your voice, your tone, and your themes, then it can be a very powerful tool. But yes, you will definitely either not develop or lose your own voice if you allow the AI to just do literally everything for you.
Stefan, when you imagine entertainment 10 years from now, what do you think will surprise us the most?
I actually think the thing that's likely to surprise us the most about about entertainment 10 years from now is how in person and live and social it will be. I think when people see the capabilities that AI is bringing to the table, and also the capabilities that were brought to the table by um, some of these like short form platforms and cheap cameras. There's a lot of focus, and also and on and various kinds of gaming platforms, Roblox, things like that, that are high access, low barrier to entry. There's a lot of focus on personalization and the individual experience, the individual creator. But ultimately, entertainment is part of culture and culture is social. And there is a lot of data starting to brew up about how audiences, and especially younger audiences, want to be more genuinely social, not just online social, but like go to spaces and interact with other humans in a physical space in the world. And I think that live events of various different kinds are going to be perhaps even more prominent than they are now in 10 years. And I think from the perspective of an industry that's looking a lot at things like personalization and um, how AI can allow us to like reach every audience member individually in very special and customized ways. The surprise will be just how much people want to share and want to have those shared cultural moments and interact with each other and not just in this like personalized little box.
Thank you, Stefan, for sharing such valuable perspectives on not only the evolving world of AI, but also on emerging technologies. We really appreciate your time and look forward to watching the next chapter of innovation unfold for you.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me. I'm happy to share.